Hi everyone, Bob Rotruck here with you. This is your Phantoms preview. The Adirondack Phantoms are back after the All-Star break, and by league mandate, they were not allowed to have practices for much of the week. Saturday was their last game. That was at Albany. That was a 5-2 loss. And then the All-Star game in Brandon Manning, proudly representing the Phantoms down there. The skills competition on Sunday and the game on Monday. But the team itself, they had no practices from Sunday through Wednesday. Some of the guys got out of town, and they were able to take the opportunity to get a little mini vacation in there. Practice again yesterday morning. Game today, and it's a home game and a $2 draft beer. Frosty Friday night at the Glens Falls Civic Center. Adirondack Phantoms against the Norfolk Admirals, who are kind of the former Syracuse Crunch. We've kind of explained this story to you before. Norfolk did win the Calder Cup last year, but then they changed affiliations from Tampa Bay to Anaheim. They got all the players that were with Syracuse last year. That includes former Phantom Patrick Maroon, and so this is a Norfolk team that lost a lot of guys as well up to Anaheim after the lockout. They had really been struggling. They had lost 7 in a row, but they come into Glens Falls actually on a bit of a roll. They have won 3 in a row, and they won last week over Bridgeport. They scored 5 goals, and they got their offense rolling. Adirondack had been rolling. They had gotten points in 3 in a row, but then went into the All-Star break on a sour note with the back-to-back losses against the Albany Devils. They do have some injuries here that are still kind of hampering them, and then some roster movement as well aside from that, and there's so much going on. But Mike Testwheat, he is still out. He took a hit a couple weeks ago against Connecticut. Garrett Rowe is just coming back to practice, so he's still a few days away at least from returning to action. Matthew Ford is also going to miss this game. He was injured on a kneeing penalty last Saturday at Albany. That is still stinging him some. He has been skating, he has been practicing, but he is going to miss this one. Brian Boucher, 36-year-old veteran goalie, is slated, it would appear, to get the start in goal for the Adirondack Phantoms. His first Glens Falls appearance in about 14 years was last Friday against Albany. He lost that game. Did some research, tracked down the box scores. He had actually been 3-0 all-time in Glens Falls before that game, but all of his games in Glens Falls before were in the late 90s when he played for the Philadelphia Phantoms and they took on the Adirondack Red Wings. And he won all 3 of his games here in this building until he played for the Adirondack Phantoms last Friday, and that didn't go quite as well for the Phantoms. Well, some more roster news. Of course, David LaLiberte joined the team last week, and now another blast from the past. And this guy, boy, does he come with all kinds of impressive credentials. You might remember him from a couple years ago with the New York Islanders, but Jon Sim, who was a Philadelphia Phantoms great in 2004-05. And he scored 35 goals in that championship season for those guys. They had a 17-game win streak at the beginning of the year. Then they cruised all the way through the playoffs. 10 goals that he scored in the playoffs, so a total of 45 that year for the Phantoms. His last game for the Phantoms was June 10th, 2005. That was the Philadelphia Phantoms, of course. That was the championship clincher. He scored 2 goals in that game, and the Philly Phantoms defeated the Chicago Wolves 5-2 to sweep the Calder Cup Championship Series 4-0, and he's really excited to be here. He began the season without a team. He's an older veteran, 35 years old, almost 500 NHL games and almost 70 NHL goals. He got picked up by San Antonio around December, but he opted to come over to the Flyers organization, even though San Antonio wanted him back, because he likes the coaching staff here. He'd been working with them before, from back in 04-05. Our assistant coach, Riley Cote, Jon Sim, was teammates with him on that 2004-05 team. So he's comfortable here, and it's a great veteran leader that he's bringing to the locker room. A lot of great qualities. Gets in there, gets physical, gets greasy, as Riley Cote likes to say, and the Phantoms need a little more of that, I think. Ben Holmstrom, of course, out for the season since December. Ty McGinn up to Philadelphia and doing very well he is. So those are 2 of the guys that usually bring that element. It's been a little lacking. Jon Sim also, of course, has that good goal-scoring touch. 2 different seasons for Jon Sim in the NHL that he scored 17 goals. That's a pretty productive year. One of those was a split season between Philadelphia and Florida, and another one was with Atlanta. He's played for 8 different NHL teams, including Philly and Pittsburgh, and beginning with Dallas. In his rookie season, he only played a few games, but he did win a Stanley Cup back in 1999 with Mike Modano and the Dallas Stars, among others. So welcome to Jon Sim, making his Phantoms debut tonight. He'll be wearing number 14. It's Adirondack against Norfolk tonight at 7, and then on the road tomorrow for Groundhog's Day down to Wilkes-Barre Scranton against the Penguins, and then back at home on Wednesday on a dollar hot dog night here against the Binghamton Senators, who have been one of the best teams in the league this year. Call the Phantoms for tickets at 518-480 880-3355, and we'll see you here tonight.